things, right? So they come up with all these things in their head, I'm going to settle down in Canada and I'm going to, like, it's better for my child's future, it's better for my future, my retirement life is going to be better, all these kind of things. But the reality, they really don't know. And then they have to come here and start from scratch or from a level which is much lower than their current level that from their previous level which they were doing back in their home country. Okay. So if you're that kind of a person, you really need to think, after all this experience, is it really worth it for you to come and be in this particular country? But if you're a person who has a lot of friends, and then who has that social support from family, from friends, from relatives, from your neighbors, it's not the same here. Hello everyone, welcome to MALZ. We are going to talk about reverse migration. I don't know how many people are aware of this, or this was a relatively new term for me too, because I've heard about it. I've been like reading a little bit about it. So, one thing is migration, or coming into a country where you leave your home country, thinking that life is going to be better here. You do all the preparations for that, you land here, and then you understand that it might not be as per what you expected. It doesn't suit your kind of lifestyle, or of whatever reason it might be. There might be some emergency back home that you need to attend to and you need to be there. So all these comes under reverse migration. And so basically, it's wherein you decide to go back to your home country. After consideration of various kind of events that might be happening in your life. Okay, so I have been seeing lot of cases of reverse migration, especially with my close uh, friends or known contacts. Okay, that's the reason I thought I will do this video, mainly because uh, I just want to set your expectation right, and just make sure that you don't waste so much of money, effort, and time on a process which will drain you physically and mentally. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you this is because a lot of people are coming in from India. They're coming in from mostly from India, I would say. There are people coming from Bangladesh. There are people coming from Africa, Sri Lanka, even other Asian countries, Middle East. All these people come here because they have been given an expectation that life is going to be really good here. Move to Canada and your life is going to be set, or like things are going to be so easy, and your retirement life is going to be so fancy, or it's much smoother, it's better for your child's future, all these kind of things, right? So they come up with all these things in their head. I'm going to settle down in Canada and I'm going to, like, it's better for my child's future, it's better for my future, my retirement life is going to be better, all these kind of things. But the reality, they really don't know. Okay. I'm sure there are a lot of YouTube videos on this. I'm just going to share my experience, because I was personally in touch with certain people who left Saskatchewan, or who left Canada because they just couldn't adjust anymore, or they thought it's really not worth it. After all these years they have been in India, they didn't find the education system better here, all these kind of reasons. So I'm going to list out some of the reasons that you might think of reverse migration. And if you are a person who falls into this category, please think again before making a decision of coming to Canada, because it really doesn't make sense, like I told you earlier, to spend the effort, time, and money to come here and slog. Okay. So the first reason why most of the people leave Canada is because they have an expectation of how life is going to be here. Okay. So they would have seen YouTube videos, they would have seen Instagram reels, or whatever it is, or got feedback from their friend who's visiting from Canada to India, saying that, oh, Canadian dollars, I'm living that life, that, this, and all. Agreed. Okay, they might be earning well, at the same time, they're also spending. And if you're looking at the life, it's very different from where you're coming from, especially if you're coming from India. There is a kind of life that you enjoyed in India, right? Let's social circle. There might have been help with your kids. Your parents would have been there, or you had better schools and those kind of things. So they won't be as uh, like what you used to get it back from whichever country you're coming from. So it's going to be different. So you have to actually mentally set your mind to actually come here and unlearn what was happening there and start a new life here. So people who are not prepared to do that, or who think that it's really not worth it, things of going back. Okay. Mm, then there are certain people who was earning really well back in their home country. They were in like really high positions, like VP or director, or they were running businesses, and then they have to come here and start from scratch or from a level which is much lower than their current level that they, I mean, from the previous level which they were doing back in their home country. Okay, so what happens here is, obviously they're compromising on a lot of things. Especially I have seen people see it all depends on the person's mentality. Okay, if you're a person who's okay in compromising on these things, then you will find it okay to adjust. But if you're a person who was earning really well, and you'll come here and start comparing, oh, I'm only getting these many hours, I'm only getting this much salary. If I convert it, it's going to be only this much. My designation was so much better. I was the boss, and so many people were reporting to me. Now I am reporting to somebody else. All these things come up, and it's going to like really play around with your mind. So if you're that kind of a person, you really need to think, after all this experience, is it really worth it for you to come and be in this particular country? For me, it was personally fine. For my husband, it's okay personally, and then for all my friends who are here currently, it's okay. Okay, so if that is a criteria that will bother you, you really need to think about it, see if you can adjust to it, and then come here. The next thing, what I would say is, uh, I've already talked about the salary, right? Obviously, when you start off in Canada as a new immigrant or student, you might start off with a minimum paying job, or you might start off with a job which is much lower than your previous experience. So your pay is also going to be according to that. So be prepared for all these things: your job profile, your salary, your work culture. Work culture also, you know how it is back in our home country, right? Like it's always busy and crowded, and then you have a lot of friends and those kind of things. That's not the scenario always in every country, right? Especially here, it's much more laid back. Your work life balance is much better. You get to spend time more with your family. So if you prioritize that, then this is the right place for you. Another thing why people go back is because they start getting depressed here. Okay, because their social circle, I did fall into that category for a brief amount of time. I still feel that I miss my friends here, mainly because I was a people's person. Okay, maybe I have changed in the last 2 or 3 years because of personal reasons, because of some of the events that happened in my life. But then overall, I was a person who could make friends like this. Like within like a conversation, I used to like meet up with them later on, or make friends, and had like a zillion friends around me all the time. Whichever place I used to go to, I'll have a friend there. It used to be like that. But personally, I have mellowed down so much, and even before coming to Canada, because I did go through a brief depressive period in my life wherein I just felt that um, there are very few people who will stay with you when you're in your worst. Okay, once I realized that, then I stopped taking effort to keep in touch. So I used to be that person who used to literally call everybody or check on everybody every 1 month, send a message, hi, how are you? Let's catch up, let's do a video call. Even in the family groups, I'll be like, okay, let's do a video call, cousins, this and all. I just stopped doing that. I have stopped it because I feel that it's two-way, right? It's just not one way. Like you can't always keep initiating stuff, right? You can, okay? If you're okay with doing it, do it. But I have reached a point where I feel that I will initiate in case I see the value in that relationship, where I see the person reciprocating. Okay, if the person is not going to reciprocate, and if the person is not in the same line as I am in, then I'm not going to keep in touch. Or whenever uh, there is an occasion or something, I send them a message, but I don't take effort anymore. And due to which, obviously, my social circle itself has minimized. I know whom I can rely on, and who they also know that they can rely on me when the time is tough. Or when it's a really happy situation, I know who's there, right? So I am getting adjusted to this kind of life. But if you're a person who has a lot of friends, and then who has that social support from family, from friends, from relatives, from your neighbors, it's not the same here. Okay, many a times even I get really depressed here. Sometimes I just sit and say, oh, wish I so oh beep. I wish my friends from Bangalore are here. There are some of my very close friends from there, and guys, I miss you at this point. Uh, so I really wish that they were here. And uh, you know so if you're that kind of a social animal, you will miss that out a lot here. Because I feel the friends here are also very weird. Maybe it's just me. Okay, this is my experience. I feel it's so such a give and take kind of a thing, right? In the sense, okay, I did something, but I'm expecting something, that kind of a thing. I will do a separate video on this because I was actually I got back into my shell because of certain kind of relationships that I had in Canada. So especially when you're in a place like Saskatchewan, Moose Jaw, Regina, those kind of places, it's a floating crowd. You make a friend, and that friend moves to some other place, or you make a friend and then you move to another place, and then the contact fades out, then they are no more your friends. And then always that comparison of, okay, oh, did your file come through, did you submit that application, did you do that, did you do this, that constant comparison of where are you, where am I, where are you, where am I don't understand, like, why people do that. Even when you call somebody, you'll be like, oh, you kept your SINP file. Oh, did it go to federal? Did you get your PCC? I'm like, there are so many other things that is happening in my life other than this. Like, they don't even know who I am. They're just bothered about the current life, right? I don't believe in that. Like, I can't just speak to those kind of people who just talk about things on surface level. I believe in deeper connections. They should know about me, or they should know about who the person is. So if you're okay with those kind of superficial friends, or people who are surface level, then you will enjoy it here. And even all these communities, like, you have like a lot of um, regional community groups, like for Malayalis, Punjabis, Gujaratis, and Nigerians, or Sri Lankans and Tamilians and all those people. You have communities, but I don't know how far it really helps with a circle. For people with kids, I will tell you, this really helps, because obviously you will get your kid enrolled in some kind of activity, and then you're forced to keep in connection with these people who are your kids' friends. So that is a different thing. I don't have kids, so I can't comment on these kind of things. But I feel that it is like that. There are very few connections that you will make here that you want to continue with, and those will last. Okay, so social circle is a big thing. It's a breaker for many people, mainly because they were social animals when they were in their home country. They try doing it here, but then they find that the reality, and then they start getting depressed and those kind of things. Another thing I always feel is people don't do their research. Okay, especially people who come with their family, they feel that they're doing this for their kids' future. I agree, you're doing it for your kids' future, but also make sure that you do the research about their future. Okay, not only about your current life, but their future also. About how the education system is, how is the health system, what are they going to do, how is their friends going to be, all these kind of things you need to give a thought. I've seen so many people who came here. They brought their family, they enroll their kids into school and all those kind of things. At the end of it, they say, oh, the education system in Canada is not good. It is nothing compared to what you find in India. Okay, because India, there's a specific education system. It's like study, 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 study. If you're good in some activity, get involved in that. But here it's very different. It's very practical. They don't teach much in school. Um, I mean, the system is very different. Like it's they do more of I don't know what is the exact word for it. Mainly, they make the student understand, right? Like by doing experiments and those kind of things. Unlike how it is like textbook learning back in our home country. So they don't do research about this, and then especially if you have a kid who's already been going to school back in India, and then you come here and it's like, oh, my kid is not studying anything, he's not reading anything, he's not doing anything, he's only playing. Okay, so when you see that, then you start freaking out. Then you think that your kid is actually not studying anything compared to your maybe your brother's son who is back in your home country, who's like getting A grades in all subjects and all. So that freaks people out. Okay, I've seen a lot of people taking decision to go back mainly because of that. They come here with an expectation they'll have a brighter future for their kid, but after seeing the education system, they'll be like, okay, what did I do? And then they make decisions to go back. Just sit and think that it's not always that you learn things from textbook. I've never learned anything from textbooks. Okay, neither from my teachers. There are few teachers who gave me insight about the overall being, but not about like subjects. I've never understood anything what I learned until I reached I think I started doing my MBA. I never understood anything. I always used to like sit at the end of some table in college or school, and then I used to like keep staring. I don't know what I was staring at. Either it's at the tree which is outside the window or at the board. The teachers used to blab something. It depends on the teacher. Some teachers are really good. Okay, I have had such teachers in my 10th and my 12th and all. But then sometimes you'll be like, okay, what the hell is happening? I don't even understand. So until I reached my MBA, which I really wanted to study, I never understood anything. I think I personally started blooming at that point of time, or my brain started blooming at that point of time. So I understand things better now. So if you're that kind of a person, or if you think your kid is a little slow in learning, or he needs personal attention, or like more of practical knowledge, then this education system is better. But if you fall into the other category, then you'll always keep thinking, drawing comparison of what happened there, what happened here, and those kind of things. So that is one thing. Another thing is expenses. Guys, it is expensive in Canada. It's not cheap. I also fell into this kind of an impression that oh, you maybe you can buy things for $1, or like how Dubai used to be before. You could buy anything with a dirham. The same way you can buy anything with $1, and things are going to be cheap. No, I came here. I always quote this example wherein I go to Walmart, I pick up things, and I'm like, okay, I can't afford this. Let me keep it back. It is really expensive. Like especially grocery is quite expensive here. And if you're a big family, obviously with kids, you need to give them nutritious food, and then you need to provide them with certain facilities. If it's a infant or baby, then diapers, then toys and all. So it's not cheap. It is expensive. Grocery is expensive. Then you have to pay for gas, your car maintenance, then your if you're a person who eats out at restaurant or something. I see a lot of Indian community people. They don't even go out to like good restaurants. They do that. They might go to an Indian restaurant or something when it's like maybe an occasion or something. But whenever we step out, like go to a pub or something of that sort, we hardly see Indians there. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I can't say I don't know why. I know the reason why, mainly because maybe first reason is obviously expenses. It's expensive to actually eat out in Canada. The second thing is obviously the setting is different, right? They prefer going to an Indian restaurant and spending money, or rather than going to a continental or a pub and spending money on continental or Canadian food. So that, and then education is free, health is free, so you save, and the same time you also spend on other things like housing. Rent is so expensive. So there are a lot of things that might make you think, was life back home better? Yeah, I personally haven't reached that point, except for missing my friends. I think I'm good here. And obviously, tech is so good now that you can make video calls, you can chat with your friends. So things are good. It's not that you're missing out on anything. Obviously, when you go to India, you don't know, you'll be like pulled in different directions because you have so many friends in different places. You need to meet all of them. That pressure is also there. Going to India. See why people also uh, reverse migrate is because tickets to India are so expensive. So if an emergency comes, you have to like plan for that emergency 6 months ahead, I think, because one ticket might cost more than like $1,500 or something. And then you can't just go empty handed, right? Unless you are such a person who does not want to spend. You'll have to buy gifts, you'll have to buy stuff, you'll have to spend after going there. So people always think, okay, I always used to think like back in India, when I used to talk to my relatives, and there are some people in US and all, like, oh, she didn't come for the last 4 years. She does not care about her parents. Oh, she didn't come to visit her mother. When it was her 70th birthday. And I used to always think, why aren't these people coming? What is the reason they don't come now? I know why they're not coming, because tickets are so expensive. How will they come every year? Unless and until you're in a very high paying job where you can afford these tickets, it's fine. But this is one of the reasons. Then see, usually most of the people work on daily wages. In the sense, it's either a monthly salary. It's like for Prashant, it's monthly salary. For me, it's hourly rate. So you get paid leaves. Sometimes that is included in whatever pay you're getting. And if you take a leave, some are paid, some are unpaid. Once you come here again, you need to start saving for the next trip. So it's like a task, right? It's been like 2.5 years since I came. I really want to go, but I have made a decision that I'll go after I get my PR. I don't know when that is going to come, but hopefully that will come. And so yeah, that's the reason why most people from US, Canada, and all don't even go to India, because thinking about the ticket, it's for me it's only two people. For people who have a big family, like four, two kids and all, I don't know how they manage seriously. So considering all these things, people are thinking of going back. They feel that the life back in their country is better. So if any of these things strike you at any point, then you should really sit down and think whether you should come to Canada. Because frankly speaking, after coming here, if you don't find it worth, and then you decide to go back, it's such a waste of time, right? It's such a waste of time, energy, money, everything. Okay, it's better than wasting another 10 years here. You decide and you go back. It's like how you decided to come to Canada, you decided to go back. Good for you guys. But what I'm saying is that it really doesn't make sense. Maybe I will also decide to go back someday. I don't know seriously what goes in one person's mind, right? Like, what Prashant might think one day, okay, let's pack and go to India, which I might not agree to. So, guys, just research and come, because I know research is also like mostly theoretical, right? You can't like live and experience it. But then I'm giving you my first-hand experience of what I've been going through here, or what I see people going through here, so that you have a feel of what it is, and then you take decisions accordingly. I just don't want to. I also get messages in Instagram regarding this. Should I actually come to Canada because I have 10 years of experience? Do you think I'll get the right type of job? I always tell them, if you're a person who's really happy there with your job and your designation and everything, please don't come, because life is not the same out here, right? So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like migration, reverse migration is a big thing. So if you are a person who has any of these things running in your mind, think before coming. Like, don't make wrong decisions. So I guess that's it, guys. You take care, have fun. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm keeping a target of reaching 10K by the end of this year. I hope you guys will help me in doing it. That's all.